Alrighty, we are live with Michelle Kennelly, right?
Yep.
I said it before this. I was like, I know we've we've known each other for a while and worked together, but I don't say your last name enough. And she's like, if you mispronounce my last name, I know where you work. So
legit, yeah.
So I got it right though, right?
You got it right, yeah. You're good.
So because I know it's like Kennelly. It's like me. Every time, and it's funny actually. Every time I've done one of these lives with anybody else where they're introducing me, it's Nadeau or Nadeau, and I'm just like, yeah, that's it. You nailed it.
You're like playing hockey, and the announcer's like,
"That's right."
And here comes number 37, PatNadeau.
Except for they said he's on the bench. Anyway, so Michelle, you've been with EXP for 7 months now, I think, right?
Yeah. Almost, yeah.
A very awesome 6-7 months for this far. A little bit of background for anybody watching right now. So Michelle does 40 to 50 ends a year. She's doing over 20 million in sales volume. So somebody that's definitely, would be considered a top producer, and which I think speaks volumes for making a change in your business. So let's dive right into that. When you made that change, it sounds like you were kind of looking at some other options potentially. EXP ended up being the one that you wanted to go with. But that's a big change for somebody doing that kind of volume to, move all your signs and everything over. So talk about kind of your initial thoughts of EXP, the good, the bad, the ugly, and that original decision to come over.
Okay, so I mean, I didn't hear much about EXP. Like, I'd been on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and in some of the realtor groups, and people kind of post stuff about, it's pyramid-y or like this pyramid scheme or culty or whatever. Or like they say the negative stuff about it. But I think it's just a lot of people almost were like scared of this disruptor that's coming into the market. And it's like, whoa, what is going on? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down with Pierre and chat about it and give it a go, right? Like, let me just hear him out. Because yeah, like I said, I interviewed with a couple other brokerages before that, and I was like, okay, same thing as my current one. So what's the point? So Pierre's like, watch these videos, let's chat, etc. And I was like, holy moly! Like, initial thoughts, like honestly, I was like, he said this stuff was good, but it was great. Like literally everything. I was like, what? Yeah, sign me up. Yeah, like I don't care if people think it's a pyramid scheme or whatever. I'm like, this is not. And yeah, no, sign me up. Like, just take my money. You know what I mean? It was just, yeah, it was.
So that's exactly how I was. I didn't analyze it a ton, but it's kind of funny actually because of the conversation we were just having before we went live on the different disc personalities. So anybody out there who's familiar with those, we were talking about how Michelle is definitely a high C. Like, she's very cautious, likes to cross her I's and dot her T's and whatever. Dot her T's, cross I's, dot T's. Yeah, that's right. See, that shows how detailed I am. But you're somebody who's extremely detailed, right? So to say that you were all in from first looking at it, it says a lot for anybody that knows you too, right?
I literally sit there and do research for like hours. I told you, like hours. It's like so meticulous. I need everybody's review. And with this, I was just like, no, this just makes sense. Like, I would be stupid not to jump on board yesterday.
I think if you're open-minded enough to look at it and say, what does this offer me based on what I'm paying here? What does EXP offer versus, what does another brokerage offer me? And what am I paying there? It should be a no-brainer. Should be.
It wasn't even so much as like, what am I paying here? What am I paying there? It's like the value. Like, I would pay twice as much for the value, but luckily I pay way less than half of what I used to pay. So it's a bonus, really.
So sort of, it seems like you came to EXP didn't come to you. So when you were leaving that brokerage that you were at before, what were the pain points and kind of the things that you were struggling with maybe in your business before that made you want to make a change?
You know what? I go back to this, like, it's the support thing. It's like lack of support and zero training. That I'm not about that. Like, there needs to be more with a brokerage. You can't just have the bricks and mortar and have like an admin there and think that's all the support that agents need. Like, that's not it. Like, you end up becoming complacent. You end up just stuck in doing the same thing over and over again. And it's like, okay, I have no motivation. There's no training, there's no sessions, there's no mentorship, there's nothing. And it's like, okay, well, if there's nothing, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And that's not what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to grow my business more. I wanted to be doing new things, more things. You know, I needed to make a change essentially.
100%.
Yeah, so that's huge for me. And another thing I found is sort of just like the collaboration. Like, you know, you ask someone for support and they're a direct competitor. So why are they going to support you? You're like, oh, walk into the office. Oh, hey, how's it going? Hey, can I bounce something off you? No, because you're a competitor. Like, why would I? No. Like, why? Or why? Hey, I want to include this in a listing appointment. It's like, okay, figure it out. Like, no one wants to share anything because they're competitors, right? That was a lot of the pain points. It's like, that sense of community was not there, like, at all.
Absolutely. And I mean, the nature of our business too is that we are extremely busy throughout the day too. So not only are they competitors, but they also don't have time to do a lot of the stuff that they want to do. Why would they go out of their way to help you? But now if you turn it around and they're also an owner and they're invested in your success, now they need you. It's not like they go from being a competitor and not wanting to see to not only wanting, but also financially needing you to succeed. When I first looked at this model, I said, it's a wonder nobody has come up with this yet. The technology has been here for years. You look at Uber, Blockbuster, Blockbuster going to Netflix, Uber from cab companies, etc.
Airbnb, everything. Like, it's
the technology's been here. Exactly. So all these industries are going to change. I think real estate's just the next one, and EXP seems to be one of the companies that's doing it and kind of leading the charge. The other thing you said about, looking for something different and a way to change and get better. I strongly believe, and I say it all the time, I got it written on my board. If you're not growing, you're dying. So if you're not changing and adapting, like, the adapt or die, right? So it's the same thing when this COVID thing happened. Like, the question you should have been asking yourself is like, this has happened to me. What do I do? It's, how do I change my business in order to move forward and push forward this year? So
be an early adapter or be a laggard, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just facts.
Well, could you imagine having the opportunity to have purchased stocks in Netflix or Amazon and have passed up on that opportunity, and then 10 years down the line, you're like, these are some of the biggest companies in the world, and it's happening. I think the thing is, this is what I told, and the thing I told my dad is, when he first looked at the model, I said, you can stick your head in the sand and pretend that this isn't happening, but it's happening all around you. And he's obviously very different point in his career than me. He's looking at retirement and everything else. And so I think he probably could have ran that brokerage that he had before for the next 5 or 10 years. And it probably wouldn't have had much of an influence. But I was like, young me is coming up the line here. And, I need somewhere to go with my business, and I want to keep, growing. And I think the Nadeau Realty model before is, I said, you're going to get swallowed whole.
Totally. You're not going to attract big agents. Like, you're going to train people and they're going to leave. Like, it's just a number of things, because your dad's brokerage was no different than all the other box brokerages.
The independents and the box brokerages of today, especially the independents, could never have attracted a Michelle Kennelly. They couldn't have done it because it didn't make sense. The splits and everything, how it had to work because of all the brick and mortar and the expenses, it just wouldn't make sense.
Exactly.
So over these last 7 months, has there been like a most influential factor out of all the pillars that you've had, the stocks, the rev share? I mean, I know you mentioned the collaboration. That's definitely been my favorite. The leads, the training. Has there been something that really was kind of, extra positively influence your business this year? I know you said you were able to kind of streamline it a little bit better. Talk about that.
Yeah. So, well, first and foremost, I'm an owner. I own the brokerage. Like, I'm a part owner, right? That's the best thing ever. Who else can say that? I mean, other than EXP.
The owners,
obviously, and owners of big brokerages, but they're probably nowhere to be found because they're just like sitting, chilling, getting money, doing whatever they want. So yeah, huge. I'm an owner of brokerage. Yeah, that's the best freaking thing. The collaboration, huge. Like being able to shoot you a text, or Paul or Jennifer, Pierre, like whoever, and just ask some questions or this or that. Like I ask your dad a question and I'm like, hey Pierre, like have a quick question about this. He sends me a link, sends me some information, is like, okay, how can I help you do that thing to make you do that other thing, right? Like, whereas before I'm like, wait, what? You're helping me? Like, that's so weird. You're my competitor technically. And he's just like, no, we're financially aligned. We can all collaborate because your success helps my success, helps Jennifer's success, helps Pat's success, helps Paul's. Like we're all financially aligned to help each other. So why wouldn't we all collaborate? Like, it's just a no-brainer. So I think that's huge. Another aspect, like the training. I have training every single day if I want it. I can't even keep up with the training, whether I'm in EXP World or if, some of the other senior partners or whatever are holding sessions or mentorship. Like I can call up one of the senior partners and be like, hey man, I need your advice, or I need your help, or I need you to talk to this person or whatever. I have these people that are phenomenal agents across North America, and now like 40,000 agents. Are you kidding me? That's incredible. But we have so many agents that we can tap into, like whether it's in Facebook or Workplace or EXP World, or I can shoot Andre a text in freaking Colorado and ask him some questions. Hey man, like what's happening in the States, and what's the next training session you're doing? He texts me stuff in advance to like training galore, information galore, like at my fingertips. There's nothing better than having that mentorship and training accessible at all times.
100%.
And then the stock and the revenue share, that's just gravy, honestly. I never owned stocks before, and now I have a bunch, and the stock is at $70. I bought in at like what? It was like $8. I'm like, wow, okay, $70.
It's crazy.
Thank you. This is fantastic.
I'll take that. Thank you.
I'll have that. Thank you very much. Like my retirement, I'm like, okay, my retirement age is like was here. It's now here. This is cool.
Yeah.
So
for me, it was the same thing. I think I was drawn to the collaboration and being able to, when I sat in the room with, which you still, well, once the COVID thing is done, we'll get you in there. And it's so fun to be able to go and sit in the same room as these like monster producers. People are doing 1,000 ends a year. And it's like, but you can start, it's like, how did you do this? How did you do your first 40? How did you do your, how did you break 100? How did you hire an ISA? I was talking about that with Brandon Town from Waterloo last week. He just tapped into a training and it was answered within minutes. But yeah, but it also, I think it was Paul said this the other day, it feels like, cause you're on your own, you're not part of the Nadeau real estate group. Yeah. It's on your own. We're a big team here, and forget, like our Kingston local market. It's the team extends across North America and now everywhere else in the world too, but you can tap into all these people and we're all here to help each other. I think that in itself, like you said, it's gravy on top, all the rev share and stocks and all that kind of stuff. Like I didn't even look at my stocks. I didn't even look at the first time I opened it up. I think there was 30 grand sitting in there. And I was like, and now I'm thinking that was nothing because it's gone up from there. It's gone way up from there. But when I looked at it and it said, the last time you have checked this stock was whatever. It was like 6 or 7 months ago. And I was like it just was like, oh my God, I didn't even know that I had that there. It's just gravy on top. Right?
You're like clicking the app and you're like, oh, right, that's there. Oh, cool. Okay, awesome. Wicked. Like, thank you. This is a bonus Christmas gift. Yay. Like
exactly. And the rev share too. It's like, how am I not going to be excited when the businesses help me triple my business this year, become more profitable, all the rest of it. Yeah. How am I not going to be excited enough about that to tell other agents? Like, that was my whole thought process behind this year in review, why I wanted to have a couple of big realtors share their story this year at EXP, because it's conservative to say that it changed my life this year. And I know it's done it for many other, exactly. And I know it's done it for many others. So I knew we had to get out here and share that.
Yeah, for sure.
So before we wrap up here, you had two good points in a couple of conversations that we've had about EXP. And one of them was the thought process of when you were coming over, you said something along the lines of buying your broker a trip to Mexico.
Yeah.
And the realization was that coming to EXP now, that gets to be you, right? Because you
try my own trip.
That's right.
Yeah.
When we're allowed to travel.
Well, yes, of course. Yeah. No, I was reading something on Instagram, like, I think it was yesterday, or it's been a while. Like, I've reread it a couple of times, but this person said, like, if I'm paying my landlord rent, am I a part owner because I'm paying part of the mortgage? No. It was the same thing thinking back to my brokerage. I'm paying rent to my brokerage. I'm not a part owner. Like, that sucks. I'm renting my brokerage when I'm selling homes to people and telling them it's so great to buy a home so you have your own equity in your own home. And then I'm sitting there renting my brokerage. Like, okay, I'm a hypocrite. What the heck? Yeah. So yeah, it's seriously a no-brainer. Like, why am I paying the top people to go to Mexico for 2 months or 3 months to enjoy their life when I'm grinding and, like, I'm a slave to the brokerage and I don't even take a trip a whole year? Like, that's crazy to me. This model, like, flipped. I'm at the top now. I'm an owner.
Exactly.
I'm gonna pay myself. Like, I'm not renting anymore. This is not what I'm doing. So that was, like, one of the biggest things for me, like, realization. And especially with COVID, it's like, if anything, COVID has taught us we need to be constantly adapting, evolving, and ahead of the time.
100%. Couldn't
train, the Netflix train. Like, I don't want to be on the fax machine train. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So, honestly, you couldn't have put it better right there at the end there. That's exactly how everybody needs to think about it too. So for those people that are still renting out there and then telling their tenant or telling their clients not to, if they just want to hear more about EXP, because I don't think we expect everybody to jump ship. And I mean, it's a big decision, but if anybody is looking for more information on EXP, what would you recommend that they do in the next steps?
Honestly, like, reach out to somebody who has joined the brokerage. They're going to give you a wealth of knowledge. They have already experienced the brokerage, however long they've been in, whether it's been 6 months like me or just over 6 months, or someone who's been in a year or 5 years or 10 years or whatever. But just reach out. It can't hurt to ask for information and ask to get some resources on the brokerage. Like, call me up, text me, email me, call Pat, call Pierre, like, whoever. Just get the information. Like, are you going to go get your COVID shot without doing the research on it? Probably not. So get the research done. Look into it. Ask some questions. If it's not for you, then great. Like, that's totally cool. And if it is, then now you're equipped to make a better, more informed decision on coming over. Like, 100%. I don't know.
So, okay. So I'll roll your number at the bottom here for anybody that wants to reach out.
Text me, call me, whatever.
I think you put it so perfectly, though. It's getting the right information, but more importantly, it's getting the right information from the right source. So
yeah, for sure.
If you want to hear it from the horse's mouth per se, give us one of these horses a call, or my Instagram's there as well. Reach out, because like we said, this thing has changed our lives this year, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Same. I'm super pumped.
Thanks for coming on with us today.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining.
Have a good day.